Hello everybody and welcome to Garim's Workshop. In this video we're going to use the resin to create our Hearthstone keychain. Now in this video I'm going to be using, of course, resin, which is right there on the left, and an assortment of paints, and that little bag is glow-in-the-dark blue powder, which I'm going to be mixing into the paint. We're going to get there in just a minute. This is the keyring that I'm going to be using that I'm going to set into the resin. That is going to actually solidify inside of the resin keyring. The resin that I use, you have to mix in 2 parts for it to start hardening, and it's got to be as close to one another as you can possibly get it, which is why I break out my little postal scale here. I measure it in grams because that is the lowest increment of weight that this thing can set to. Alright, now this stuff begins hardening really pretty quick. So, I'm going to go ahead and shake the glass here for about 15 seconds or so. Luckily I've sped up the footage so you guys don't have to wait the whole time. And it is ready to go. The cool thing about this resin, not only does it begin hardening really fast, but it actually generates quite a bit of heat when it does. Alright, we're going to fill this mold up right to the point that it's overflowing. You can see there just a little bit it's seeping out. That's a good thing. And we're just going to lay this keyring chain just right inside. And now we super fast forward this and you can actually see how long this stuff takes to harden. Usually about 15 to 20 minutes and you're ready to go. Alright, and we are ready. Now like I said in the other video, you don't need any kind of release inside this silicone mold, as it's going to separate from that resin very easily. So, just going to go ahead and peel that back, and there we go. Now, due to the low definition of this video, it's kind of hard to see, but it came out just a little bit porous. It's got nice little holes, and it's a bit rough. So, first thing I'm going to do is break out my metal file. It is the coarsest instrument that I have, and going to make it nice and smooth right around the corners there where the resin was seeping out over the sides, and kind of made a sharp edge. So we're just going to go ahead and dial those back. I think I got this file up at Walmart for like $3, and it's a whole... The entire thing is just one big metal file, but I decided that I needed something softer to grip while I'm working, so I think I used a sock and some masking tape. Makes a great handle. I like to keep my options open and my tools cheap. Alright, now that we've got that done, we're going to bring over my disgusting looking water bath there, and we're going to wet sand that down. Now, being again that it is a Hearthstone, we don't want to make it perfect glass smooth. A little bit of porous activity there is a good thing, as it maintains the illusion of it being an actual rock. So, we're just going to smooth it down just a little bit, but not completely. Being that it's already relatively fine, I don't have to start with the coarser sandpaper. This first sandpaper that I'm using here is 220 grit. It's coarse enough that I can use it to get over any of these raised areas and smooth it down a little bit. Now we're going to put that up and bring out 400 grit sandpaper, and going to go ahead and run over it again. Now I do have 600 grit, but I'm not going to use it on this Hearthstone because again, you want to keep it just a little bit rough. A glass smooth rock doesn't really make a lot of sense. So we want to at least maintain the illusion of it being rock. Alright, now since the Hearthstone is a little bit of an off-white, we're just going to use standard white and just a touch of black. That there I'm using is metallic black, just to kind of give it a good tint off shade, a little bit of sheen glossy kind of look. Now, depending on what paints that you use, you may have to do multiple coats. I think on this one coat is going to be good enough, as this paint is kind of thick. This is just your standard cheapy Hobby Lobby acrylic paint, nothing special. Gonna get around the edges, the front, the back, make it all nice and pretty. I know you guys are looking at that Hearthstone thinking it is not that white. Don't worry about it, we will address that in just a minute. This is just kind of a base coat. So while I'm working on that, is there any other suggestions that you guys have of other items that you would like to see me create? I'm looking to basically make anything that is a more simple-ish shape out of movies, games, anime. I don't care, man. If it looks cool, I'm willing to try it. Waited a few minutes for that to dry. Break out one of my smaller brushes, which is just like a standard cheapy brush that I used a pair of scissors to make it a little bit finer, and using a darker shade of blue. Now, of course, the Hearthstone has just got your standard little spiral, but it's got a lot of colors in there and it kind of looks like it's glowing. So I like to start with a nice dark coat, and then we're going to add a couple more light ones here in just a second. So far I have made like 6 of these little Hearthstone key rings. I gave a couple out to the friends that I played WoW with, and now I'm sitting on like 4 of these things. I don't know, they're fun to make. Now, due to the low definition of this, I did go ahead and add a picture end there so that you can see a little bit more clearly what I've done there. Alright, we've waited a few minutes for it to dry. Use the same blue and a little bit of white to just hit a lighter shade. And just going to do a real quick right through the middle of it. Kind of sloppy. You know, you don't want it to be perfect machined. You want it to kind of be uneven, a little bit sloppy. It's going to make it look right. Now this is that glow in the dark powder. I got this bag super cheap. Got it off eBay for $3 or $4 from China. Took like 5 weeks to get it in, but it's cheap. Alright, I have mixed it into a lighter shade of blue, which I am going to then get a little bit of white to make it even whiter. Alright, and a little bit more. I also did not thoroughly mix that up to still make it, you know, again, uneven. Now that that powder is mixed in with that, you expose this thing to a little bit of light and it will glow. It's awesome. I don't know, how about you guys out there? What is your favorite things to make and create? Just about done with that. Do a little bit of cleanup on it, and you can see there it's still holding a little bit of the glow from before when I used the flashlight on the bag. Now I've used just a little bit of water and that metallic black paint, and we're going to run that over this stone. What that's going to do is all that little small rough areas and cracks and those little porous spots, that black is going to seep in and kind of give it like a more natural shaded look. So we're going to do just a couple coats on that, and then of course we're going to turn it on the side, do the sides and the back and all that jazz. You're basically just going to hit it until it looks right. My pigment started running out in the water there, so I added just a little bit more. And see, it's using a lot more black now. You don't want the thing to be perfectly uniform. Make it a little bit uneven. That's what gives it character, guys. You don't want it to look perfect. I think that's what really makes these things look cool. If you get a little bit too much black in one area and you don't want it like that, no problem. Just use a little bit of water to dilute it back down a little bit. And that's it, guys. Finished product. On the next video, I'll be creating a Diablo Soulstone. I have always wanted this thing. Alright guys, thanks for watching and I really hope you enjoyed.